Guys, welcome back. It's James, Ben Nicholson, UK. We've got a full Bare Truth podcast coming up with you now with none other than Steven Hazlegrave, who is the owner of Outlaw Gainz. Steven, how are you, bro?
I'm good, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, really good, mate. Really good. Looking forward to this. I know we've spoken a bit behind the scenes, so
Got your tissues ready, have you?
Fantastic story to tell, mate. I know that. So what we usually do, Stephen, with Bare Truth Podcast is we take it right back, mate, as far as you can go, really, and then go through your story from there, mate, up until present day, and obviously what's coming up.
Absolutely. So when I was younger, it wasn't just like your typical growing up stage where everything was rosy and whatnot. I did go through some pretty bad incidents. I can the longest memory that I have when I was younger is when I was leaving my mum and stuff, and she was going through like a breakup with my dad, and she was in quite a bad relationship with him where he'd beat her and stuff like that, and certain things happened to myself. One of the things that happened to me in that relationship was I had like a hot kettle, a kettle full of water poured all over my leg and scored. I'd been set on fire, being beaten black and blue, and one of the memories that I do have is when sort of my dad were leaving my mum, and somebody had lifted my arm up from behind and had a lighter to my arm, so it was almost like I was used as like the bait, really. It's like, you leave me, I'm gonna burn him. And to this day, I still can't figure out to who did it and whatnot. But that's one of the things that happened. And because that happened, that led on to me being in care for quite a number of years, which my mum actually did fight for me to come out of care. But then, unfortunately, she was in like a really, really bad relationship again, which was my brother's dad. And again, I was witnessing the same things, her getting beaten black and blue. I'd get beaten black and blue. I'd get threatened to go back in care. Remember a couple of times I'd be dragged out of the house in the pissing rain. And I used to live in Gipton as a kid. That's where I kind of brought up. And they'd take me down to Fairway Hill, where the like a football pitch that everyone used to play on. He'd take me there, leave me in pissing rain, telling me that I'm going back to care. I've got to wait there for him. I'd be waiting there. I was on my own, like absolutely distraught. And I'd gone through that a lot, witnessing mum being braid and stuff. And out of nowhere, like my grandma's sister, she used to live in Birmingham, but she'd come over because she'd got wind of what's been going on. And she was like, well, I'll take Stephen over to Birmingham for a bit for 6 weeks holidays. Next thing you know, I'm in Birmingham for like a year and a half. And up until me getting older, I actually discovered that she was trying to adopt me. But honestly, it was like a different life over there. They were well-to-do for. They had a big house. It's like my great uncle? He was like a sergeant in the army and all that kind of stuff. Like I say, it was totally different. And then from there, I ended up back in Leeds. And again, it was like my mum just had like this thing about attracting bad men, and she ended up with my sister's dad, and he was kind of the same. He'd beat her. My mum up, he beat me up. He didn't really like me at all because I weren't his actual kid. I remember catching him cheating once. We're in. He used to take me to Compton on Aerials. We used to play snooker down there. I'd play pool with kids and that. And I caught him kissing another woman in pub. And because I'd caught him and pointed it out, he kicked shit at me at car park and started laughing at me in front of his mates. And then when we were on way home, they were like begging me not to say out to anyone and all this kind of stuff, like, I'll do this to you, I'll do that. So I had to basically lie to my mum. And then she was quite volatile with him. I think he ended up really, really bad on drugs. And it turned out that when my mum were, because his sister was really bad on heroin. And what he was doing is when my mum was sleeping and stuff, he was injecting her. And she was waking up with like track marks on her arm and stuff like that. And it made her really poorly. And it was just like months and months of that. And then one day, he'd come downstairs, and he beat my mum up in the kitchen. And I pulled a knife out of a chopping board, and I said, "You get the fuck off my mum, you leave her alone." And he left. You know what I mean? But it was that kind of shit that he was doing. It was just absolutely awful. And my mum ended up really poorly for a long time. She ended up with pneumonia. She nearly died from it. She couldn't leave the house. So I basically looking after my little brother and sister, and that just felt like a theme, like throughout most of my life, like that were happening. It's like when she was with Paige's dad. She was upstairs one time, and we used to have a fire. Remember the fire guards that used to have to put in front of the fire, and one of them had wet beds, so I put these pajama bottoms on this fire guard. My brother, not really knowing, he's pushed these a little bit too close to the fire, and they ended up catching fire. I had to grab them and run into the kitchen. But my mum was out of it because of what he was doing. Nobody really knew what was going on, but we could have ended up on fire. But yeah, he was really bad though. Like I say, picked my sister's dad. Like when he left after that time and me telling him to go, he'd stalk the house and stuff, like follow me to school and some really bad stuff. So that was kind of like the theme throughout my life, that where I were, things happened. There was another incident when I was really young, and had things happen to me when I were a kid. Like I got raped when I were a kid, which is something that I've always found really hard to deal with. But what I don't understand is, well, I'm starting to understand now, but for years I just accepted everything as normal. Do you know what I mean? Like I was just happy-go-lucky Steve, and then as I became a teenager, things just started to change, and people would talk about certain things, and it would just get me riled. And I did get bullied for a bit, and then one day I just flipped. I absolutely kicked the shit out of a lad and levered him, and I got made an example out of in school. And I'm like, but for years I've been going through this, getting bullied in school. The one time that I flip, I'm getting made out to be, shit. And but yeah, it gave me like a bit of a bad temper. I moved out of home quite early. I suppose I met what we call my first love, and thought I had the world, I had the whole world in front of me, and whatever. Fell out with my mum and that really badly, which were quite hard because we'd always been so close, even though we'd been through so much together. But that kind of made me turn a little bit on my mum, because that gave me time to think about the shit that did happen when I was younger, and I did get mad at her and hate her a bit because she let that stuff happen to me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's not. I don't think that it's normal, And so like that for a bit, like with my mum and that back and forth. We were in a few shitty relationships. But then if we go forward like a little bit, like about 12 years ago is when I met my ex-wife and stuff, and I found
Steven, sorry mate, just to jump in there. So obviously you've had all of this sort of childhood trauma, go on, and and just from like to help try and understand it. Obviously you had your mum and dad where you suffered some horrific abuse, and then another relationship that your mum, and then a further relationship. So the 3 times that you were sort of with your mum, your dad, and then her future partners, you were pretty much abused each and every time for a while.
Yeah.
How I can imagine, obviously, like you say, there was a time when you were slightly older at school that then enough was enough, and you ended up flipping, and then that ended up coming back on you. So you were almost meant to feel like you were at fault of that, which obviously, you weren't. And how hard was that when the one time that you think you're actually doing the right thing after you realise?
Because I never asked for help, and I don't, like I say, I always accepted it. And the one time that I did reach out to get help, I couldn't get it. And that made me not want to ask for help again. Do you know what I mean? And just keep shut.
Did that make you sort of want or have more fights, or because you didn't have that understanding as well?
It did. It just made me, tick quite a lot of times. I could just feel like constant rage, and I'd be pissed off at everything. More so when I guess when I got older, like you'd find yourself looking for a fight in some cases when you go out, you have a drink and that, and you almost like you didn't care.
So when sort of school come to an end, then when you sort of got to that school leaving age, did you where sort of were you at that point? Were you thinking about going straight into work or college, or?
I didn't really have, like, it was more like, right, get yourself straight into work. So I mean, I think I worked at McDonald's, KFC's, shitty little jobs, and I met my first love. But then the back end of that, because like I say, I fell out with my mum for quite a lot of time. I tried to take my life, like two times in a row. But the second time it put me in I ended up being in a mental health hospital for a good few months, and then I kind of revived a little bit of the relationship with my mum.
What age were you then, mate? When
19.
you first 19, so young, really young as well.
Yeah. And I was really, really lucky, to be fair, the second time, because I'd done it in such a short space of time. But the second time I accepted the help, because it was a little bit different back then, where you'd get assessed by the doctors and they'd say to you, do you want to be basically booked in to the hospital? And, you know, they give you proper treatment then and rehabilitated me properly and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I didn't want to be around anymore. Like, literally, I just had completely enough, because I just thought, all I wanted to do is be loved. And I can't even get that out of the people that's supposed to, do you know what I mean?
So your first partner, mate, as well then, I'm guessing that was quite young. You ended up moving out.
We were only like 18 when we were together, about 6, 7 years.
So how was that then? Obviously with then, so you're with your partner, and then you've got to such a low that you didn't want to be there anymore. Was your partner understanding to that at the time? Were you in a good relationship? Was it? I
think it was more like we were thrown together because of everything that was going on, and then I ended up falling out with mum and just kind of clung to her. But she had problems, I had problems, so we weren't really good for each other anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and you said that the second time that you wanted to take your life, and you ended up then in the hospital. How did that then help with your relationship with your mum? Was it just the sort of fact that a light bulb went off a bit in her head, thinking that she was going to lose
her son? I guess so, and it were all right for a bit, but then I'd end up meeting my ex-wife, and we're all right for a bit, but my mum and her didn't really get on, and then it was like my ex-wife got it in my head that kind of, because something had happened where I were at work, and basically I had a minor heart attack. I almost died in work, and my mum was on her way to the hospital, but so my dad, and my mum and my real dad don't talk, which I'll touch upon a little bit more about that later. And my mum was like, well, I'm not coming to hospital if his dad's coming. But my wife at the time was like, well, hang on a minute, like, that's your son, you should be there regardless. And she was like, and then she eventually did come. And then my ex-wife had said to me, well, she said a comment like, well, I had an appointment next door, so I thought I'd kill two birds with one stone. Bear in mind, I'm in resuscitation unit, being basically brought back, given adrenaline and that, and all wired up and stuff. And I just took that as gospel and stopped talking to mum again for quite a number of years. But during all this stuff that happened, from like when my mum and my dad broke up and her stopping him going, I never started talking to my dad until like I was 28 year old, and I tracked him down like through like Facebook and stuff.
So this is then sometime after your dad came to see you in hospital at that point then?
So I literally, when my dad came to visit me in hospital, I'd literally been back in my dad's life for about a year or so.
Right.
So it's absolutely bonkers, like, because I didn't really want to ask my mum for help to see him, and then I didn't know if I wanted to see him, and then there were questions, and then we have like a relationship, myself and my dad, and that it's all right, but it's still really weird, because it's almost like we don't really know each other, because we both kind of lived our own lives and all that kind of stuff. And obviously with all things that have happened when I'm younger, there's so many questions as well, but you don't want to bring it up because you don't want a big carry on about it as well. I
can imagine it being really, really hard for you, because I can imagine as well as a boy, all all you want is that love from your parents as well, and especially from your dad, you know. And so it must have been really, really difficult in order to just sort of accept things.
Yeah, so I had all this going on, like meeting this new woman, obviously getting my dad back in my life, and then for a bit we're all right, you know. We had a baby and all that kind of stuff, and thought things were good. But probably about 5 years into the marriage, things started to change. I started to have questions. People started to say stuff. I heard things, and after I left my ex-wife, things were clarified to me. So there were always rumours saying that my son weren't actually my son, and they'd been with this person, that person. It could have been that person. Heard it from friends, family, whatnot. And you choose to ignore it, don't you? And I'd wanted to be out of that relationship long before I actually ended it. And when I did, I basically fought for my son for 3 years to stay in his life, keep having him. I moved to Wales for a bit. I was travelling from Wales to Leeds, from Leeds to Wales every other week, having him for a full weekend, getting into football on a Sunday morning. Bear in mind, this is travelling from Wales at silly cocoa morning just to make sure I get in there. You know, I was doing everything that I could have done. I paid maintenance every month. You name it, I did it. Was I the most... I don't know. Did I get on with her most of the time? No, I didn't. Did she get on with me? No. But she'd always have a problem with everything, even though she had a new partner and whatever else. However, this year in January, I thought I need to find out the truth now. Like, if I am his, because she's making my life so hard. Anxiety's through the roof. It's making me depressed and drinking all the time. This isn't no good. And I found out that in January that he ain't mine biologically, after doing the DNA, and then she ripped him out of my life, and this is after having him in my life for 10 years. And that fucking hurt, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine.
Don't say like that. Do you know what I mean? Like that. That for me is like, you might as well just rip my heart out and just fucking stamp all over it. And it took me a long time to come back from that. Like, the other worst thing that's happened to that is, like, literally like a few months before I left my wife, I was working from home because it was during the pandemic, and that I was on computer just about to log in to work. So I used to work for Direct Line doing insurance and that, and I got a text message from a friend saying, hope you're okay, Steve, sending love to you and all family, hope everybody's okay. And I'm like, what's going on here? So this person's not replied, so I rang this person back and says, what's going on? They're like, you don't know, do you? Like, what do you mean I don't know? Like, it's Gaz. He's killed himself. He's been found on. And yeah, that fucking hurt me. Do you know what I mean? Like, at that point, I was so down and low, and I couldn't believe that he'd done that, because, like, in the pandemic, I think everyone was finding it hard, but I did find it really, really hard in the pandemic because I had no gym, no outlet, nowhere to go, and he was the one coming round, checking on me, making sure I'm all right. And that even a week before, they'd be like, "You're all right now," because I'm so proud of you. Gave me a hug, walked away, and he's never really like that, and I didn't think out of it. And then, yeah, he killed himself like a week later, early hours in the morning, in kitchen with his so-called mates, sniffing cocaine, and yeah, just have another drink. You know what I mean? And that's kind of where I ready to definitely break up with my ex-wife then, because I didn't get the support that I felt that I was supposed to kind of get. You know what I mean? Like, you need to get over it. You need to sort yourself out. But I couldn't. You can't just. I don't think anyone can tell you how quickly you should get over something. Work made it pretty difficult for me. They were like, says I need time off, I need to grieve, blah blah. They're like, well, you haven't got any holidays available right now, but you have next week. I'm like, no, I need the time off. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was difficult.
There is no time limits to anything as difficult as that, mate. There isn't, you know, and we can lose people, and I think as well, especially to suicide, like people close to you, and in some ways it's so much harder because you can't make sense of the reason that they're gone, and really they should still be there as well. So when it's a death that happens where, you know, either people take it themselves or it's accidental, it's horrendous. But there's no time limit to things like that,
100%. It's like, you know, before I had like the minor heart attack in hospital, or planning my wedding and all that kind of stuff. And stressful enough as it is when you've got to pay thousands of pounds out, and it's very costly getting ready. So got a phone call again. It's about like one of my best pals. I don't know if you heard of him, like Nikolai Brown. He'd stepped off some scaffolding and literally hit the floor and died pretty much instantly. And he was like one of my best friends from being a child. And that hurt me. And I think that's what kind of drove me into what had happened when I did have that minor heart attack, because I'd never experienced that. I had so much going on. I just basically worked myself into the ground at work and gym. Horrible. I just remember walking into work, saying hi to the security, and then waking up in the LGI.
So this around the time we're at now, then, Steve, was obviously around the pandemic, where lockdown was tough on so many people, and I mean, especially those that rely upon fitness and going to the gym for their own mental health as well.
Yeah.
So I can completely sort of understand how difficult that was at that point.
Yeah.
Did you then sort of, after you found out regarding the death, was that the point that you then started thinking this relationship's not right for me?
Yeah, like with our Gaz especially, like I just wanted to be out of it because I didn't feel like I was getting that support. You know, when he did what he did, I went really bad with my mental health. I tried to kill myself again. I'd had like support around me, like they were coming around to the house to help visitors and doing all they could, but she'd be like, "Oh, I'm about to have a drink." I'm like, "But I'm drinking and doing coke and that. You're not really supporting me." Do you know what I mean? And I was just like, "I need to get out of this." I did.
Yeah, I was going to say, mate, obviously, from all the childhood trauma and everything that went on, all the abuse, and to then leaving school, did you find yourself going down the path of alcohol or drugs to try and blank any of it out, or was that?
Not until like in like my 20s and that. I dabbled a bit on that, and then I just got really, really bad, like especially a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, I'd say one of the worst that I've been on it. Since actually breaking up with her, we're not, you know, with all the stuff that went on and fighting for my son. But I'd be sessioning for like a week in a row, 2 weeks in a row sometimes, because I used to work in Leeds City Centre. I'd go out, stay awake all night, end up in some shithole, talking crap all night to somebody in the kitchen, and walking into work, still having a bag on me. This is bad. Go to the disabled toilet, have a two every hour a day just to keep me up. I'd walk out a direct line and straight at Leeds City Centre, straight to the nearest pub, and back on it again. It were awful, mate. I could not get out of that rut. And do you know what it is? I didn't want to face reality either, because it just found it too hard. I don't feel like I was man enough to be able to face it. You know. I'm getting into fights with people, all sorts of shit were happening. Fighting with bouncers, got kicked out. Few months, what are we in now? We're in November, so around April time, we're like kind of the last time when I really went bad with like the drink and that. And basically, I were in town. I went out on my own. This is what I used to do. Not go out with mates and stuff like that. I just fucking go out me and drink and do whatever. I'd gone out. I'd gone to end up in New Penny, just getting pissed and that. And they'd closed. I'd gone round to the back in glass room where they do all dishwashing and what have you. And I'd be like, I'm going to fucking kill myself. Started smashing bottles and that. Police had to come. It was, yeah. And then I ended up in mental health hospital again. And
that's not that long ago either, is it then?
No, that were like March, April time.
Wow.
And you know but the turnaround from that though has been fantastic, because I met my lady. Do you know what I mean? We can make a movie on our story. Our first date in the mental health hospital. We're walking around fucking Nutwing, hand in hand, and it was like the first time I met her, it was like I'd known her forever. First thing she did was put her arms around me and told me everything was going to be all right. And automatically, I just felt fucking calm, because I had all this anger and frustrations, and nobody was listening. Everyone was just fucking judging. Before I ended up in mental health hospital and did that in Penny, I was getting arrested every other week, or fighting with fucking coppers, laying them out for fun. Think, you know, I was an arsehole, and I was a cunt, but it wasn't who I was. I just didn't give a fuck anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I were a twat, like, police would try arresting me. I'd put them on their arse, I'd fucking headbutt them. You name it, I'd fucking do it. I were a cunt. I ended up breaking my toe in back of one at meat wagons because I just booting fuck out of panels and that. All right, Dick. When they got me into cells, one at times, they'd had me like bent up like a fucking chicken. My ankles were cuffed up. My hands were behind my back, and they had to leave me in the cell like that. I'd had coppers in there sitting me on a fucking beanbag because I was just like trying to smash my head off at walls. I just went absolutely wrong. But like I say, the final time when I did it and I met my missus, it was just like, right, you need to sort your shit out now because this lady, you're not going to get that again. And I genuinely feel lucky to have even met her. She's successful, you know. She's got all. She's earned what she's got. You know what I mean? Like she's well to do. She's a businesswoman. She's she owns her house outright. All that kind of stuff. I don't add value to her life, as in, well, I didn't at the time in terms of monetary value and all that. All that were there for her were just me. And I'm thinking, man, why the fuck does this woman want me? You know, beautiful, intelligent, got everything that she could ever want. And then we'd been seeing each other. I'd come over to Suffolk, she'd come over to Leeds. We had like date nights and that, and end up moving over here. But yeah, it happened pretty quickly, but probably the best thing. And I was associated with another brand beforehand, but unfortunately things didn't go the way that they kind of should have done. I had like a business partner, but it just didn't work, so I scrapped it off. And I remember in there and saying, well, I'd love to do it on my own, but don't know what to fucking do. And Marissa said to me, she went, if you really want to do this, you need to fucking get up your ass, and you get to work, and you need to go do it. So I was like, right. So we sat down, we talked, and we talked about names for a brand and all this kind of stuff. And we were like, Outlaw Gainz. And Sam thought about it for a couple of weeks and that, and I'm like, right, let's get this together. And it wasn't just a case of saying, like, Outlaw Gainz, that's it, let's fucking do some clothing and put this label on, blah, blah, blah. There were a lot of thought that went into it. So for me, like, being outlaw is not like being a cop, like a robber and all this kind of stuff, or necessarily something bad. It's somebody that doesn't give up and strives to be better, never backs down, and always moves forward. And while ever you're doing all of those things, you're gaining. So when people put like my garments on and they've got that Outlaw Gainz on, I want them to feel empowered. I want them to have tunnel vision, you know, because that's what it's about. Like, if I'm able to go through all of this shit and be able to come out the other side, have a successful business, be happy, have everything that I've ever wanted, not have to worry about money anymore, and all that kind of stuff, then so can everybody else do that, because you deserve to do that. Like, the most precious thing in life is time. You're never going to get time back, so why sit and fucking dwell? You know, whatever's happened has happened. That'll always be a memory.
Yeah.
However, you can control your destiny. There are certain things that you can control. Unfortunately, I can't control what's happened in my past, what's happened in my life. I can't control that my son's not my son. I can't control that I don't have any rights to him and he's been taken out of my life after 10 years. But what I can control is how I present myself now, what I do going forward. I'm not going to fail. I'm going to keep pushing myself to be the best that I can be. You know, if I'm ever to get my son back in my life, I want him to be that proud son that he was when I were in his life. Do you know what I mean? I want him to go, that's my dad. And when one day he'll walk into fucking JD Sports or whatever, and Outlaw Gainz will be there, because that is where it's going to go, and I will not stop until it gets out there. But it is a brand that, for me, it's to relate to everybody. Everybody's got an outlaw inside them. Everyone's battling something. Do you know what I mean?
100%, mate. And it as well. It means a lot as well. I know you said like you felt at the time that you didn't bring anything to the relationship in terms of like value, monetary value, but what you brought was yourself and your own mind and your heart and your soul, and that's priceless, mate. No one can put value on that, you know. I'll
always give 100%, regardless. For me, if you're not going to go 100% for me, there's no point in doing it. Do you know? that's it. And that's why at the time I was pondering, shall I do the brand, shall I not do the brand, because I want it to be absolutely fucking perfect. That's because of shit that I've been through in my life. That's the way that it's made me, like, just to be 100%. I've always got to have a goal as well. That's kind of how I deal with like my stress and my anxiety. I'll put targets in place and set myself missions, and every time I've completed a mission or whatever, I'll go on to the next one, and it kind of keeps me level. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And
yeah.
through building this brand, right? And I'll just go back a little bit. So we spoke earlier on about like where did the boxing and all that kind of stuff originally come from? So a few years ago, and this is where I'm with my wife, I took part in a couple of charity boxing matches that were like for cancer research and stuff, and I trained with one of the UK's best, Scott McHugh. He's three-time British champion in BKB. I started my training with him, and I'm proud to say that me and him used to stand toe to toe at the time in bad company when it all started and kick the fuck out of each other. It was brilliant. Fortunately, after the charity boxing matches, he carried on doing what I did. I did the training for a little bit, started doing a bit of Thai boxing. I then ended up training in Bramley at the Bethlehem Boxing Club, and did a few like amateur bouts. Then went on to do a couple of semi-pro bouts, and it were all right. And then one day I've gone into the gym, and I'm, Steve, you want to spar? Okay, so I've gone into the gym, started sparring, and this young whipper's fucking jabbing my head off, and I thought, fuck off. I thought, this is not for me anymore. I can't be fucking dealing with this. And I kind of walked away from it. But you know what? I did things and I achieved things that I didn't think that I'd ever be able to achieve it. Especially just getting in the ring to start with, you know what I mean? That takes a lot in itself. But I just thought, bollocks to this. I'm going to go back to gym and just continue to lift weights ever since. Obviously, I had scraps and that throughout my life. But yeah, that was kind of where it was. But throughout building the brand, like I said, because I've met so many amazing people, like, and I know so many great people as well within like the fight industry. Like I do know a lot of people. I'm not going to be that person that's going to name drop and all that kind of stuff because it's not right. But I just seem to get on with them people so well. And if you'll know, like fighters, they've all got a great fucking story. They're all fighting for something. They're all different and they're all unique in their own way. And what I like about these guys that I know is just because of where they're at in life, they've never ever turned their back on me. They never looked down on me. They're always there supporting me. They're always there pushing my brand out. Incredible, you know. And they don't ask for a thing in return. But me, I like to send them garments. I'll give them, you know, personalised hoodies. I'll give them tracksuits. I'll share the post because it costs nothing, does it, to be nice? And that's the way I see it.
100%, mate. No,
and I
100%.
think, you know, I used to be so down on myself before and think, because I used to believe into shit that people used to say, especially like my ex-wife, and that, oh, he's a dickhead, he's a wanker, he's a waste of space. And that gets in your head and you start believing that. And then you're like, well, if I'm that much of a dickhead, why have I got all these great people in my life? Why do these people support me? Why are these people rallying around for me as much as what I'm rallying around for them? Yourself, you've given me this platform and I'm very, very grateful. But
honestly, like, for me, it's all about spreading awareness, and it's all about people sharing the story as well, because there's so many people that watch these podcasts who have been through similar things, or you know, just from the number of podcasts I've done already, you know, we've had multiple suicides, you know, mental health problems, abuse, child abuse as well, you know, and you're not on your own. And I think
people need to talk about it. The more people that talk about it, they'll realize that it's nothing to be ashamed of, and they're not the only one as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We need to break the stigma of keeping things inside and doing more, speaking out. I said to you the other day, didn't I, that like early on in the year, I did try to put an event together, a boxing event, and got quite a bit of like clout for it, like in a good way to begin with. Like BBC reached out, I did an interview down there, but then all of a sudden they were like, we can't release the interview because it's too raw and blah blah. I'm like, well, what's the point? This is how we're going to be able to create awareness and stuff like that if you're not going to release it. And we're going to do like a charity boxing event and dedicate it all to men's mental health. We're going to fund it all. Everything we're going to come out, you know, his own pockets. We're basically borrowing, stealing and begging for for people to do stuff. We had people donate ring. The medics had come in, had people wanting to fight on the show, like Paul Venner and all that lot. We're all ready, but we just couldn't. Everything was just getting shadow banned on like TikTok, on Facebook, and then people stopped talking, and it was like, this is no good. So I think we just need to, more people need to go on about it. And then I think if enough noise is made about it, maybe a change will come. But like after this podcast today, if I can at least help one person, because I can honestly say, yeah, I've reached a point in this podcast today a couple of times where certain stuff I have had to hold back, but you know, there were traumatic things. However, if you'd spoke to me like 6-7 months ago, you wouldn't have got a conversation that I made have been fucking crying all the way through. You know what I mean? But now I'm learning to deal with it, and the more I keep doing what I'm doing with my brand and helping other people, I think the better I'm going to get, and I feel like that is my purpose. So, like a couple of months ago, a bloke called Barry Rankin reached out to me. Fantastic person. He's done so much for charities and everything else, and he's one of those people that will just literally help anybody. And he jumped into my inbox and he told me about this little boy called Charlie Thompson. And I don't know if you know, but Charlie Thompson is a young lad, and unfortunately he's got the terrible CE. He's battling leukemia at the age of 6, and honestly, it broke my heart. And he says, "Is there any chance that you'd be able to do out for him? Could you send him some goodies over, or a video and whatnot?" And I did, and then I started to get to know this little lad. Like, I'd like video calls, getting videos sent from him. Hi, Steve, and I sent him all of it. I sent him and his brothers a couple of hoodies, t-shirts, hats, and I got some pictures and videos back. And he was the happiest kid, and do you know that stuck in my head? I'm like, this kid is fighting a bigger fight than anybody else, and any fight that I've ever had. And I created these hoodies. I don't know if you can see, but I've got one on now. And so these hoodies that I've got here, these are for Charlie, Team Charlie hoodies, and I designed these hoodies, and so much gets donated towards a fund for him, which we've all put together. And basically, when he rings that bell, because he's a fighter, I want to get him to Disneyland. And then I thought, what else can I do? And I've been on and on about doing a boxing match and all this kind of stuff. And then I've been following like YouTube Warz for a while, and because I love combat sports anyway, anything to do with violence, people getting their faces punched in and whatnot, I just fucking love it. I'm not like a mass murderer or all like that. I'm not sick in the head, but I do love like combat sports. I love the competitiveness. I love the toughness. I love how people show heart. And I also love the respect afterwards. Like, that's a big thing for me. Like, they'll kick the fuck out of each other, and afterwards it's like, let's go and have a pint together. And I thought, it's like box. So I bumped into Simon Kirk's inbox, and I'm like, would you allow me to box on your show? He's like, yeah. And then I'm thinking, I'm umming and ahhing, I'm like, I'll just do bare knuckle. It's a challenge, innit? Let's do it. And then I'm like, right, fuck it, I'll do bare knuckle. And basically, I'm going to do the fight for Charlie. And I've sold 2 VIP tables, and I'm going to dedicate the fight first to him, which is like another £1,000, and then whatever other tickets. And like I said to you before, he's fighting a bigger fight than anybody. So why can't I get into the ring for 6 minutes and have a punch up? A fight's just a fight to me, I'll be honest with you. I am not scared of getting in that ring, and I'm not the hardest person in the world, and I have been beaten shit out, whatever. But it's just a fight. It's in a controlled environment. It's for a great cause, and it's also a personal challenge to me. See if I can rewind that clock. See, the bare knuckles a little bit of a different game to boxing. There are a lot of people around my age that are breaking into the scene and actually doing quite well. You look at Aaron, who's just become British champion. He's fought T1 and managed to get a belt. So I think anything's possible. But
there's so many people as well, mate, coming away from gloved boxing into bare knuckles.
I just fucking love it. It's great.
Yeah.
Honestly, I love the rawness.
I'd sooner go and watch any bare knuckle event over any boxing event any day of the week.
100%. I love it. It's a proper punch up in it. That's for me. That's a straightener in it. That's how proper men settle it.
Yeah, I mean it's quality. I love the fact that any punch can end it.
Yeah,
any punch, literally. I mean, it's very unlikely in boxing, in glove boxing, that's the case. Usually it's spread out over a number of rounds and points are going into it and everything else. But with bare knuckle, and the biggest thing as well, Steve, what I love, mate, is the fact that sometimes, win or lose, sometimes the loser comes out getting more respect than the winner.
100%. Because like I say, it's that heart, isn't it? You'll see some people and they'll take some fucking shots, right? And they just keep getting up and getting up. And I respect that all day long. That for me is the winner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. There's no losers in this sport whatsoever. None whatsoever.
But like I say, he gave me this platform to do this on, and genuinely I'm grateful too, because I'm not going to speak of any names, but there's a couple of organisations where I've asked to do stuff on and not really being given that opportunity. So for Simon to say to me, yes, you can, because like I say, I am, up until recently, up until like a month and a half ago, I've not laced gloves up. But now I have found the fire in my belly, and I think it is something that I probably will continue to do for a year or two.
Why not? You'll get the bug, mate. I think you'll get the bug.
Regardless to what happens, I think I will. And I've even sponsored the promotion itself, and I believe it will be one of the best bare knuckle promotions around. I think with people like you in it, people like myself with my brand and what I'm about, we're all gelled together. We're all about the same kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? And the people that are fighting on the show, they've all got their own stories as well. There's some remarkable people on that WhatsApp group. There really is some nice people.
Yeah, definitely. They're all the fighters in regards to YouTube Warz. They're all top lads, honestly. Like really, really good lads, and their inboxes are always open as well. And if you're struggling or you are in a bad place, everyone's there to give you a hand and lend you an ear to get you back up and back on track.
Like my pal, one of my pals, Matthew Hodgson, a week before he was making his BKFC debut, he'd seen that I were down on that, and he's fucking straight on me. You better fucking ring me if you're feeling that way. You're like, whoa, like you've got a fucking fight coming up next week, bro. Like just chill out. And it was just nice, you know what I mean? So I look up to people like that, and I celebrate other people's success. And I generally do think sometimes, like, why the fuck do you give a shit about little old me? Do you know what I mean? But I guess it's just true friendship. You know what I mean? That's the only way I can kind of express that.
There is a lot of good people, mate, involved in the sport, and from the fighters. I mean, Simon, I can say hand on heart, I don't know if you saw the video Tyrone just put out last night in regards to Simon and saying that he's obviously having to relinquish his belt that he won at the last chapter because he signed with BKB. Signed a professional contract, but he did a lovely video, like in regards to Simon and YouTube Warz, and really saying to people, if you want to be getting into bare knuckle, this is a platform, and hand on heart.
You don't necessarily have to be have a massive amateur or pro career or whatever. Just go on, and it'll give you a chance, which is nice,
And it comes as well, which, I'm not going to name names or name platforms, but I do know of a number of platforms in the UK who will almost try and trap fighters into signing contracts.
I know one that's very famous for that. And if you walk away from a certain organisation, they will try and penalise you for it.
I mean, with Simon,
he just lets you fight anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, with Simon, he will do anything and everything for his fighters to help them achieve their dreams, whether that be on a different platform or whatever. And that's genuine, that's from a genuine place. And there's not many promoters and platforms that do that. Trust me, But no, he is a top guy. I mean, everyone involved in YouTube Warz fantastic people, mate.
Yeah, I've met some great people like, you know, Simon. I've met you, and I'd speak to Christian every now and then. A lady that's making my shorts, Naomi, fantastic, great. So everyone thought that me and her were going to be like at loggerheads and all this kind of stuff. And there's been a little, you know, a few things said or whatever. I'm like, and we had this conversation. We laughed at it. I'm like, you do something completely different to what I do. I can't be putting fight kits together and all that kind of stuff. It's not what I do. I'm a brand. I want to relate to everybody. Yes, I do customized t-shirts, tracksuits for my fighters for free if they ask for them, because they're wearing my brand. Obviously, I'm going to do that for them.
Yeah,
but I can't do what she does. I'll be honest with you. And she's like, cool. And then she was like, I tell you what, you do me a couple of tracksuits, and I'll do your shorts for you for free. So it's just nice having that relationship.
Brilliant.
And we both shared each other's posts. We'll compliment each other. I recommend fighters to go to her for like their fight kits. She says to people if they want stuff doing from me to contact me, which is it's nice. It's nice to have that respect, you know.
Yeah, she does great stuff as well, Naomi. Off streets on sports is
unreal. So if anybody needs any fight kits or
Yeah.
fight shorts, please contact Off Streets on Sports.
Yeah, definitely. Just to go back then, Stephen. I know you said like obviously it must be like an ongoing battle, sort of the mental health, the stress, the anxiety. What helps you, apart from obviously, like you say, you've got your partner now, who I can imagine is like an amazing support because she's been there and lived it as well.
Yeah.
What gets you through your day to day, mate?
Goals. Like now, like I'm living and breathing like my brand, thinking what I can do better. The gym's very, very important, honestly. And now, because I've pulled myself away out of certain situations, pulled myself away from certain people, I'm now more in control of myself. So, you know, like before, I find it really easy to go to a pub and then you'd have a pint, right? You need a bag straight away. None of that shite anymore. Like I don't drink at all. I might have a couple of drinks in February, but I can now say no to a drink. I can say no to a bag. Whereas before, I'd be fucking 10, 12 bags in on a night, every night and all that kind of shit. But it's not good. So honestly, people, right? I know that it seems like a good idea. I know that it feels like there's no way out. But the worst thing you can do when you're down is drink. And then on top of that, take that devil's dust, because that shit fucks you up. The anxiety that you get with that is you question yourself your whole life. It's not good. Not good stuff at all. It's fake. It gives you that buzz, and then you're constantly chasing it and chasing it and chasing it and chasing it. You don't want to face reality.
I know people that have lost everything as well.
Oh, trust me. Like I was saying to you yesterday, like literally, like I lost everything. Didn't necessarily lose everything through drugs and drink. You know, when I broke up with my wife, I did lose my home, almost lost my career. Yes, recently I lost my son. But, you know, I was in a bad place, and I could have probably got myself sorted out years ago when I did break up with my wife, but because I took it so bad and I'm battling what I'm battling with, I'm a kid, I decided to just I'll just drink and sniff and that'll make everything better. You know, but eventually it got hold of me and ended up in hospital, didn't it? And then, you know.
How old was your son, mate, when you said that you went and did the DNA?
Almost 10. So what had happened is on Christmas, last Christmas, I picked him up on Boxing Day to come to mine and stay over and that. And I'd had the kit, and I kind of tricked him into doing this DNA. We're like, I've got a game for you to play. I was like, all right. So basically, you've got to blindfold yourself, and you've got to guess what I put in your mouth. You know, made it a bit fun, so you didn't really know what was going on. And I'd had him for a week that time, so I spent quite a lot of time just me and him, because I knew what was going to come. As soon as I found out the DNA and told her, I knew that she was going to take him away, and there was not that I could really do about it. So I took him away to play football and that, and then on the last time I kind of did that before taking him home, I sort of sat down with him and had a cuddle and all that kind of stuff, have a joke, and I says, look, I want you to do something. He says, what, Dad? I says, no matter what gets said to you,
take your time, mate.
I says, well, no matter what gets said or you find out or whatever, just know that your dad's always here for you. I'll always love you. nothing ever changes. And that was one of the hardest things that I'd done, because I couldn't break, I couldn't break character and be like how I am now. It just had to sort of act normal and just tell him that I love him. And that last goodbye, honestly, it was killing me inside. And then the results came through literally about a week and a bit afterwards, and they just weren't. I weren't even close to matching and being his dad, and that hurt. That because I knew she was going to take him away, and that's why I stayed with her that extra time when I knew that she went right for me for like 5 years in. My fear was always that.
I was going to say, did you have doubts, and obviously,
yeah, because I found out that she certain things happened with her and certain person, then I found another person and whatnot, and then it turned out that it were between a few people and whatnot. And I never give a fuck, because I end the day with my boy regardless. Like, I went with her, I'm seeing him. Just fucking stop getting involved in my life and making my life difficult. Like, I'm having him, I'm paining you. Like, what more do you want? But she just, nothing was good enough. Do you know what I mean? And so, yeah. So
my little boy is 10-7 in January, and to think that your lad was 10 years old when you got to that point, like,
yeah.
I mean, I just devastated for you, mate.
It is gutting, because it's like, I'm 38. My missus is a little bit older than me. My missus is like 52. She's had her kids, and I'm not going to start asking her to have babies now, and nor would I kind of want to either, because it's really, really like put me off. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm just grateful for the 10 year that I had, and I know that I was a good dad, and I've got some wonderful memories. And remember what I said to you earlier about memories; they last forever. So I can always look back at them at any time. And like I say, I am hopeful that maybe one day I get a knock on door or something, and he's there. Do you know what I mean? And my arms will be open for him.
What I would say, Steve, is I like at that age. I mean, I lost my dad when I was 8, and I still have lots and amazing memories of my childhood with my dad. So what I would say, like, 10 years old, those memories aren't going to disappear that your lad's got, and at the end of the day, still is your lad, is your son. You raised him for 10 years,
and I'm his dad regardless. I don't care what people are saying behind my back or whatever. He's my boy, and that's it. And regardless of what people want to say or fill his little head with, like, I've loved that kid from the moment he was born. I was the first person to hold him. He was 6 pounds 6. We used to call him Little Squidward. I've witnessed everything. I've witnessed his first words, him walk, riding a bike. I got to do all that with him. Do you know what I mean? So
that's true, mate. There's plenty of people that have kids and don't give a toss about the kids and don't, and so to me, there's a hell of a lot more to have a dad like that in the life, than just somebody who happened to do the deed and then they walk away from kids left, right, and centre, mate. It happens all the time. So exactly. Big respect for the fact that that you did stick by, even though you had those doubts anyway. But I could imagine as well, like, even with those doubts.
Do you know what hurt me the most? It was like one of the last message I got from his mother regarding DNA. It were, all you had to do was shut up and pay. And that, like, wow. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's shocking, mate.
Because it was like almost like I was getting my life dictated to me for nearly 3 years about when I should pay, when I should do this, when I should have him, when I should drop him off, and blah, blah, blah. Like, bear in mind, I drive from Wales to bring him home. We have like a certain routine, and she'd just deliberately not be home. So I'd be sat outside house with my kid. Bear in mind, I've got to drive back to Wales. And that wasn't meant to be acceptable. We should just do, just silly little things like that. Or you're not coming to get him, or you're not sending your partner to get him. You've got to come and get him. So instead of my partner picking him up at 5 o'clock, she wanted me to finish work and go and pick him up at 8 o'clock, which would not convenient, really. What is it like? It's not good for the kid either. Like, having to get picked up at stupid o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is you're only talking 5-6 years, and he may well, hopefully, he doesn't have his mind poisoned and everything else. But that's why
he will know who his dad is. He will, and especially like with the brand, because the brand next year will be in a total different place. I truly believe in my heart, and how I've seen it grow over the past 11 weeks, especially the last 3 or 4 weeks, mate. It's been incredible. We will be out there, and people will know who Outlaw Gainz is and who I am, and especially through this, like, you know, the platform that I'm going to be fighting on and all that kind of stuff. It will be talked about. This what we're doing right now, it will be talked about. It's going to be there, isn't it? And I hope that he does see that. And if you ever do see it, Ollie, just know that I love you.
Yeah, respect, mate, respect. And I'm sure he knows it as well, Stephen. I'm sure he knows it, mate, himself, you know. It's 10 years of you being dad and doing things and sharing your life with him, really.
This Christmas is the first Christmas without him, and I've kind of just prepared for that, because, you know, I got a lovely home, I've got a lovely lady in my life, I've got beautiful stepdaughters. One of them lives with us, one of them's lives in her own house and whatnot. But I've been welcomed here, like, and we are a family. You know, it's great. It's nice. Doesn't mean to say that any of them take. How do you put it? They replace Ollie, because they don't.
No,
however, it's still nice, and I've got a lovely Christmas to look forward to.
No, well, that's great to hear, mate, as well. And
so now it's just time to enjoy the mince pies over the Christmas period, get the training in, and then we punch some faces in, don't we?
Got a few weeks anyway to cut down anyway after Christmas, mate, so you can enjoy Christmas and really, yeah, make the most of it. But honestly, I mean, for me, it's great to know that that you've met somebody who completely gets you and what you're about.
The best thing about it was, like, as much as you were there for me, it were like, look, only you can do this, Steve. You need to sort yourself out. Yeah. So when I did Outlaw, I got into work and I fucking put my wages away every month, and I built it up. Like, got the website built, got all the clothing put together, and I'm like, look what I'm doing. I remember, like, I sold like 1 t-shirt a week, and I was fucking like jumping up and down like boom. Now I'm doing like 100 garments plus a week, and I'm just like, what the fuck's just happened? In 11 weeks, I'm like, I've fucking been able to do this. Like, you've done this, babe. I'm like, but you did it. And she's like, well, no. She went, all I did was tell you to fucking sort your shit out. You know, and the feedback that I get, and people generally do buy into the brand, and that's why I would never kind of let somebody, like, partner up or be in with him, because I'd be scared that they're going to take away what Outlaw's about. And if that would take it away to me, no matter how much money the brand's worth, it would take away the whole point of setting it up. Because I always want it to be a brand that gives something back, builds other people up, and inspires people. I don't want to be like the big names out there. I'm not going to mention them for obvious reasons, but I think you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah, definitely. And it's do you know what? It's so important. It's like I said again on the podcast the other night. For me, and doing this, like, just the people who get in touch with me and say, oh, do you know what? I had this happen to me, and seeing your podcast and seeing these guys come out and talk about it, and like inspired people to then go and get in touch with Andy's Man Club and get themselves down there as well when they're struggling, which again is a fantastic charity. It is a great charity for every guy, you know. I wouldn't stop doing this and doing my podcasts, you know, for anything, because this is what also helps me and helps my mental health, and you know, just being able to speak to people one-to-one and share stories, and also it's given me the first opportunity in my life to talk about my own feelings and losing my dad and things like that, where I've never spoken about it before, you know, but it's always there with you. It lives with you every day, mate, you know, and there's not a day that goes by where I don't think about him. And that's why I'm saying there's no time scale over bereavement and grieving, or there really isn't, because for some people it never goes away, you know, and you can still get on with your life and still put things in process. And again, like with you, for me, it's setting goals. and it's having something to look forward to, whether that's the next bare knuckle event, whether it's the next
is it now.
or
for me, I want to stop being like, not so much selfish, but stop thinking about what's happened in my life, because I've openly admitted now and accepted that it's happened. It's not happening now, and I've got so much good stuff going on and so many plans in my head. I just think my purpose here is obviously to do my brand and stuff like that, but I also want to fucking keep inspiring others and helping other people and helping many people can. If we get people to see the light like I've seen the light, then that's great. If I help one person today after this podcast, then we've achieved something, haven't we? You know.
100%, mate. And I like massive respect for that as well.
And I've got a lot of this today, like just being able to sit here and talk to you. And yeah, I almost broke down a couple of times, but it's been nice to just get that burden off my shoulders, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you won't get anything but support, mate, in regards to people coming out and sharing the story. And like you say as well, it's good to know that your coping mechanism works for you in a similar way that mine works for me as well, in terms of always having something. It's when I don't have anything to look forward to that then the problems start kicking in. But it's only the beginning. It's only the beginning of your journey, and
exactly.
You know, tomorrow's the first day of the rest of your life, you know, and you can close a chapter. And if that means you close a chapter, it's not forgotten about, but you can just close it and put it away, and then really, you know, enjoy where you are now. And, you know, it sounds like you've got a fantastic partner. You've got your family there with you as well. So I can imagine Christmas is going to be fantastic for all of you. And you can, put away the mince pies and treat yourself, mate. And you've still got plenty of time to cut out ready for February. So
to be fair, like the weight's there. Do you know what I mean? I have been able to strip down to the 80 kg mark. I can't, like I say, the thing about goals, I wanted to make sure that I were in a decent position to be able to fight, and I feel quite comfortable at that weight fighting at 88 kilo, 91 kilo. You probably see the pictures of the WhatsApp group. I will probably twice my size, but move like a robot. Now I can move, I can roll, I can weave, I can, you know, come in and out nicely. Not being a big everything at 5'7", you know what I mean? It weren't quite working. So I just thought, right, it's time to do it. So I can get away with having a bit of food, but I know my body, do you know what I mean? And I think that's a key part of training. That's what I've learned over the years of been doing it, is that I know what my body can have and what it shouldn't have. And if I want to keep my weight the way it is, I just need to burn more calories than what I've fucking consumed, and that's it. Rather than overcomplicating it, you know what I mean?
And what's your training like, Stephen?
I'm training like 5-6 days a week. I'm doing 2 private boxing lessons a week, and then I'm doing 2 class sessions per week. I'm doing weights every other day with 45 minutes to an hour cardio, and that's pretty much my routine. I'm not doing any less than 3-4 kilometers per day, and what my goal is I keep beating my times every time that I do it. I'm getting that a little bit quicker. So I think the other day I did like just over 2.5 kilometers. I think I did that in about 9 and a bit minutes. Which I thought, well, considering when I first started, it took me about 16 minutes. It's a lot of difference in it. So
yeah, definitely. Well, mate, honestly, I wish you all the best in terms of your training now. Christmas is fast approaching. It's going to be here before we know it. Then we're going to be into New Year, January, and then we're only a few weeks away to the event as well. So what a couple of bits that I will say is what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to put Steven's links for Outlaw Gainz into the description. You'll also find Steven's social there. So if you do want tickets for February and you want to help Steven and support the charity and the money raised again, and help that journey, then
Charlie.
Get in touch with Steven directly. His social links in there. Obviously, huge respect, mate, in terms of what you're doing, and thanks for sharing your story.
No, thank you very much.
I know it's not the easiest thing to do by any means, especially when you've been through so much. But I think, you know, it's fantastic where you are today, and you are here for a reason, you know.
100%.
it's all about moving forward now. And I wish you, mate, I wish you nothing but the best with your,
Thank you so much,
with
Simon.
your fight, and but also with the company as well. And make sure you have a fantastic Christmas, bro.
Much appreciated, James. Thank you very much. And I'll speak to you soon.
100%, mate. 100%. Is there anyone, Stephen, that you want to give a mention to?
I just want to say, Charlie, keep doing what you're doing. Keep fighting. I just want to say thank you to Marissa and Simon. Big props. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to spread the message on your platform. And thank you to you for listening and letting me, talk my story.
No, pleasure, mate. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much.
What we'll do, guys, we'll wrap it up here for now, but I'll see you on the next Bare Truth podcast, which is going to be with another YouTube Warz fighter, Jimmy Newman. So we'll see you for that one, and I wish you all very well, and we'll see you very soon. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, straight shot. Oh.
Straight in.
Oh my God.
I told you this last fire.
It's
exploding. Opening up.
Oh, Jack Rose.
Straight in.
Oh. Jack Rose seems to be on top, so
You find that with a lot of these bare knuckle fights, they embark on that 1 round. Which one's David's fighter? Is that Jack Rose?
no, it's the other guy, Steven Hazlegrave. The guy in the black short.
Right, okay.
Oh, it's a shot.
Now retired, Gary Furby. He's in, as you can see, there he's talking to his man in the crowd.
Straight in, yes. Body shot there from him. You getting that corner now?
So there he is, it's Simon Kirk.
Yeah, we've got.
Well, Gary will be happy with his boy. He's getting a win. Well done, Liam, lad.
But no, fair play to him. So yeah, a lot of people here today. Obviously, we've got Dodgy Dave in the
Hedgehog Man's here.
Hedgehog Man. Rabbit Man's rumoured to be about. I've not seen him. Not seen Rabbit Man yet.
Commentary with Ben. He's going to talk you through this fight.
If it's not going to last long, this, here we go. Go on. Now, let's see, the big swing, the power. Oh, and the Phil's using the chance. He's being clever. Oh, good chance. How does he looking for that one punch? Because he knows he has it. He's put many people away. He's a bit shocked, I think. Well, I feel like he stay focused. He's doing good. On that jab, keep that jab. Don't be distracted. Use your jab right now. He's not using that jab. He needs to use it. There you go. Keep using that jab. There you go. Still hard there. What a warrior. Go on. Can't close up. Look at him, Deeks. Not many people can take punches of Aldos like that. I'm promising you, the guy is a knockout merchant. Crowd's going nuts for this. Oh, don't close. He can't be close to him. He cannot be close to him when he's fighting Aldos. He needs to stay on the back foot and use that jab. He's used that range. He's got more range. He needs to be using it. Like now, he's throwing now. He's got any chance? Aldos are literally lining up their one punches. And Phil's hurt them. What a warrior, Phil Hart, though. What an absolute warrior.
Top man.
Go on. That's it, he needs to be throwing low. He can't be standing, not working against Dave Aldos. He cannot be doing that. And he's getting more confident as well. You see how he's using the footwork? He's trying to close in to get that big right. See him trying to land. That big right, look, there we go again.
That's what Nathan's going to be looking for now.
The best thing Hartley should be doing right now is using that jab, and he's not using it. Right now, he's letting him tee off him. But he can't do that because if one of them goes through, this is bare knuckle, and he will knock him out. He has that knockout power.
100%.
He's already bleeding. I can see a bit of blood as well. He's caught him on top of the head. There you go. He might be trying to tire him out. Oh, Phil Hart looks he's up for this.
He's got a heart of a lion though, Phil Hart.
Look at in his eyes, mate. Like he's not here to play around. What a round.
Well, in the title for the lightweight.
Here we go.
Nathan in the pit boss shop. Is it? Holding sick.
Come on, lad!
Good it.
His left eye's in a right mess by the looks of it.
Yeah, there's yeah, he's checking his eye. He's back to the ball. Oh.
Just a slip there.
Yeah, just a slip.
Looking to get through that guard, working the body around the back of the ribs.
Two light heavyweight fighters.
Real deal, Damois.
He's caught his eye. He's caught under the eyes, Tim Scott.
Sorry, it has.
Tim Scott's caught under the eyes.
This guy's a heavyweight he's fighting. He's stood in at last minute.
Really?
His dad's took the fight against an heavyweight.
See, he's got a cut on his eye already.
He's an animal, damn not. Absolute animal.
Caught him.
Wow, they're going for it.
Jesus! What? That crowd is going crazy!
That's how you answer people. That's how you answer.
Big fighters too.
There we go. He'll go.
Yeah. Let's just carrying on.
Tickets at £40 on the door for this event.
They're going to Damn with a bloody nose. Oh.
And here we go.
They're both still willing to go.
Oh, good right hand there. Uppercut's coming in now. Nice right.
He's fighting on.
Oh, nice hit there. Nice punch. Nice punch from Dan. And yeah, there we go. I fought it.
Wow, lad.
That's a win for Dan here.
What a great fight. What a great fight.
So there we go, people. It's 4-0 now for Dan.
Do some fucking damage. And there we go, we're off. They both fill each other out. There you go, Tyrone with the jab. Oh, Andrew again with the pressure. Tyrone going, let's see, they both clinch. Tyrone getting their triangle for the clinch. Fill each other. Oh! Tyrone took a big right hand. Andrew takes the list, he covers up as well. He's coming up well, hands are down. He's slipping the jab well. He can slip them right. Very clued up in the ring. Oh, he's dipping and weaving, just like, oh, he's slipped. I'll tell you what, Tyrone's got a faded sleeve on his face, he does not care. Both respect each other with the feel out again. Andrew kicked his hands down. He's getting clipped there, he's getting clipped. Oh, Tyrone's going mad, he's calling him on. Oh, what's happened here?
Oh, he's been hurt.
He's caught.
Andrew's been hurt. Tyrone's celebrating. No, it's over. What's going on? Tyrone is celebrating. He is now the underdog. I believe he won. And he's now celebrating it. The gun shield goes out.